Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Grampy here. We're here in our single player world we're calling Road to Logic. I've been doing some work off camera. I finished off the barn on the inside, and I just wanted to show it to you. You can see I've done the floor. I really like this mixture of coarse dirt and jungle wood, and then throwing in some other stuff like this right here. Actually looks pretty cool in here. It's that rooted soil, so I bought a little bit of that from the wandering traders. And then every once in a while you can mix in a regular dirt as long as there's no chance for grass to spread to it. It looks pretty awesome in there too. A little bit of gravel here and there, and then some grass just to make it look whatever. Make it look like there's grass there. Tossed a few hay bales around. I did the same thing back here. Eventually we might put some chests back here and store some overflow, because we are going to overflow. We're getting quite a bit of wool now. And I've done the upstairs. I finished it off. So I don't know. What do you think? I've done so I built these beams that connect into those ones that stick out of the front. I just connected those all the way through like that, so they look like they're a real beam. I don't know what they'd be supporting, but there they are. And I put some support arches, across, and then kind of just finished off the top with some spruce wood stuff so that you don't see the blackstone. Now, you do see it down here, and I could go ahead and spruce it all the way down, but I thought that just looks like too much spruce. And mostly what I was trying to do was, if you're outside looking into these windows, you don't really see that. You kind of see the top here. So anyway, I think this might be good enough. There's the barn, done. We still have to do landscaping around all of this stuff. And I finished off the castle, so I want to show you this. The first thing I'll show you is underneath, because I got tired of not being able to navigate. So I dug down a couple of blocks so that I could go anywhere. So I don't know what we'll do down here, but I mean, this might be something that we dig way down deep and build something here, but for now it's just this. Well, let's go into the main area first. So here's our tunnel. I added the lantern that I had forgotten there. So I finished off the rest of this, as you can see. Put chests. I started to organize the stuff here, but haven't made it too far. So anyway, there's that. And I tried to get rid of all the all the torches, but I did it by spamming lanterns so much they're probably annoying too. But anyway, these chests will be for stuff like to heal, and then our emerald store. We've got quite a few emeralds at the raid farm. I need to bring them back here. Anyway, just noticed the one other thing I did was replace the glass wall that in the back of those villagers with the deep slate tile, so you can't see the unfinished part of the castle. So anyway, here it is, finished off. And I just wanted to get that done so we could tie up a few loose ends and talk about our next big thing, which is going to be, it's going to be another building project. It's going to be an awesome build. Out here in this open space, I'm going to build a really awesome house that we're going to use as our storage house, and probably a bunch of other stuff because it's big. It's way bigger than we need for a storage house. But it's a build that a guy named WBC Builds did a tutorial on. And I just want to spend a little time telling you about this. This episode is going to be kind of unproductive, except for, planning. But anyway, I live in Kansas City. I live on the Kansas side of Kansas City, but I live pretty close, like 40 miles away from Independence, Missouri. And Independence, Missouri is home to one of the most awesome houses that you could ever see. It's if you go to the Google and search for Second Empire architecture, you'll find probably a picture of it. It is like the quintessential Second Empire house. It's called the Vail Mansion, Vaile. And I've lived next to it all my life, or most of my life, and I've been in it as a school child, to tour it. They give tours of it now. It's not a private house, it's a public house now, or, they've restored it multiple times, actually. Anyway, you have tours of it. I've been fascinated with it all my life. And so I got a great idea that I wanted to build it in Minecraft. And so, I've built a lot of stuff, and I don't know. I'm a halfway decent builder. I kind of, anyway, I decided I wanted to try to build it, but I got stuck pretty fast because the Second Empire style is really has a lot of real awesome, ornate details that I just got. I don't know. I ran out of ideas on how to build it, so I went Googling to see if I could find an example of somebody that builds, that architecture. By the way, Second Empire. A lot of people confuse that with Victorian. So if you call a house Victorian, you need to be careful because Victorian is named after Queen Victoria, of course, of Great Britain, I think. That the period that Victorian architecture was in style was during the time that Victoria was the Queen of England. But Second Empire, that a lot of people call Victorian, is not Victorian at all. The Second Empire refers to the reign of Napoleon III of France, his empire. So the Second Empire is Napoleon III's empire, not the Napoleon that's known for fighting and winning a lot of battles, but the Napoleon III. I don't know my history that well, but I think he came after the more famous Napoleon. In fact, I know he did, because the Second Empire was after the Civil War, and the fighting Napoleon, Napoleon Bonaparte, was pre-Civil War. I mean, they tried to continue to use Napoleon Bonaparte battle tactics during the Civil War, which is why there was so much carnage during the Civil War. The battle tactics that Napoleon used were effective against a technology that had been superseded during the Civil War. The mini ball was the biggest advancement, by the way. That's the rifled barrel of their muskets that used a bullet style that was much more accurate. So when people marched up in big, lines that flourished with, pomp and circumstance, and just marched into battle that way, body parts just flew through the air. And, shot, and, the cannons were filled with like big shotguns. That was another advancement. They used, I can't remember what they called it, but they filled, cannon containers with just, ball bearings and nuts and bolts and bits of metal, and they just blasted huge shotguns into the lines of of their opponent, of their enemy, and arms and legs just were flying through the air. I mean, it was just that's why the Civil War holds such a a lot of interest for people just because it was so horrible in terms of the carnage and the losses of life. It was just unbelievable. But anyway, sorry for all that. But anyway, Napoleon III, the Second Empire, I think was in the 1870s. I'm probably way off on a lot of this, but that's after the Civil War. The Civil War ended in 1865. And so anyway, Second Empire became popular. And if you can't get a picture in your mind of what Second Empire is, I'm going to put a picture up and show you. I'm going to actually show you the Vale Mansion because that's what I tried to build. But before I do that, I was getting ready to tell you. I went Googling and tried to find, I was just looking for somebody who kind of, built something in that style. And so I could get some inspiration and some ideas for how to do some of that ornate trim and the roof style, which is called a mansard roof. Mansard, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Mansard. But anyway, I went Googling, and what I found was the house I wanted to build. I found the Vale Mansion that WBC had built, and he built it as his Halloween build, I think 2 years ago. And it was the most awesome reproduction of the Vale Mansion that I've ever seen. I mean, it looks just like it. It's just incredible. So I went looking for some style pointers and tips, and I found exactly what I was trying to build. And there's no way I could have built it, better than that. So WBC Builds actually did a tutorial on it. And so I just, that's what I'm going to use to build this thing. I'm going to follow WBC Builds tutorial and build the Vale Mansion. And it's an awesome house. You'll see that style has become synonymous with the American haunted house, by the way. If you can picture in your mind the house from the Alfred Hitchcock movie Psycho. I don't know if you can or not. That's pretty old. I'm pretty old, by the way. But anyway, if you have seen that movie, the house that it was filmed at is a Second Empire house. And I think maybe for that reason it's become synonymous with haunted houses. Okay, so this is the front of Vale Mansion. It's so it was built in 1881. So nearly 20 years after the Civil War ended. It was built by Colonel Harvey Vale and his wife, and it was described as the most princely house and the most comfortable home in the entire West by the Kansas City Star newspaper. It had 31 rooms, 9 fireplaces, had, amazing painted ceilings, hand-painted ceilings. It had real flushing toilets, which was quite the talk of the town in that day and age. It had in order to accomplish that, there's a tower that's built into the structure that concealed a 6,000-gallon water tank. And again, it's just like the most amazing example of Second Empire architecture that you can find. But you can see from this photograph that it's easy to make anything look dark and scary if you want to. And you can see that is kind of like the quintessential vision of haunted house, at least here in the United States. But it doesn't have to look like that. I mean, it is a beautiful home, even at the age that it is now. It's been restored multiple times. But it's, if you go there now, you can see that it's in need of some more assistance. But it's just an absolutely gorgeous home. But if you take a quick look at, the details under the awnings and the roof line and all of that spectacular, you know, just architectural detail that goes into this house. I almost despaired of being able to even try to build something that approximates it. Here's a view from kind of the side, one side. Now, this next photograph is not a photograph at all, but it's a painting. I mean, it's such a beautiful. It's been painted many, many times. Lightfoot. I think this is painted by a guy named Lightfoot. But that and this tower towards the back, the shorter tower is the concealing the water tank. Anyway, take a look at that. That is what I found when I went Googling to try to get some tips and techniques for how to do this kind of stuff. And by a guy named WBC Builds. Go to his channel and just look at some of the stuff that the guy does. It's amazing. He's incredible. And the people that build with him on his creative server are also amazing. But just the way he accomplishes the details along the roof lines, the way he actually conceives and builds the mansard style roof, it's just incredible. Here's a kind of a view from the side. Now this thing goes back quite a bit. It's hard to get the scope of this thing. It's pretty big. It goes back quite a ways from there. But anyway, guys, so that's Vale Mansion. And that's what we're going to be building. That barn looks awesome, doesn't it? Good job, Logic. Good build. Logic is known more for his technical skills than he is for his building skills, but he wouldn't admit it, but he's a pretty good builder too. I mean, that's a pretty awesome build right there. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for watching this silly little episode, and let me know what you think. If you've got questions or comments or suggestions, leave them. Take it easy on me. My ego is easily crushed, but constructive feedback is always welcome. Whatever I can do to improve these, let me know, because I know I'm terrible at it. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate that. See you in the next episode.